Today is April 18th, 2016, and my name is Kate Ferrick-Klein. And today we're here with
Tony Selvage.
And where do you currently reside?
In Topanga, California.
Great. Well, thank you, Tony, for being here today with us. And I'd like to start by asking you, can you describe how you first heard about John Rudger and how you first became involved with his teachings?
Basically, it was through Sally Kirkland, because I used to play for her little plays and things like that with John Barrymore Jr. And Sally introduced me to Lee Taylor Young. And then through Lee Taylor Young, we briefly dated, and she used to do seminars up in Mandeville Canyon. And that's when she was with her son and Ryan, and actually played volleyball with him at one point. And Lee and I became very close, and she got me into this movement of spiritual inner awareness, and I was listening to his seminars, and there was just nothing ever derogatory, and he finally hit my heart because I was seeking the religion. So basically, through Sally Kirkland and Lee Taylor Young is how I was able to be awakened by JR's magic. He is just, it was the real thing. It was heartfelt. When I was born, I was baptized a Methodist. My father was a Methodist. My father played trumpet with my mother playing keyboards and singing at the Roosevelt Hotel. And I was born in Los Angeles and just basically stayed here the whole time and studied violin from 3 on. And so the music, after all this, kind of evolved from classical into cosmic classical jazz, because I finally started letting go and letting God with the violin. And that was touching to JR, and I always used to go to his seminars on West Adams and play the violin when I was available to play. And then I did Insight, and I got my mantra that I say all the time, especially on planes, landing and taking off. But today, too, I wake up with the Lord's Prayer and go to sleep with the Lord's Prayer. So, Methodist for my father, Christian Science for my mother, Zamboni, so that I got Catholic from my grandparents. My grandmother was Mormon, and my stepfather was Jewish, so I was bar mitzvah, confirmed, and graduated into Judaism. And then I went to Catholic school. The Zambonis had a lot of pull to get me there, so I went to Catholic school. So I was touching all those religions, but it wasn't fulfilling. And then I went with Est, and I ended up getting my money back. I joined in Aspen. There were nice 10, maybe 12 conscious people, and then I got to LA, and there were 500 preachers, that I couldn't relate to, and it just rubbed me the wrong way. So I ended up playing for them and get my money back. And then I studied Subud and Baha'i. I chanted Nam Myo Renge Kyo, and I was a Sikh with Yogi Bhajan. I studied with Ram Dass, Muktananda, Nami Jayavanta, Rinpoche, the Tibetan Lamas. The only one I haven't played for is the Dalai Lama, but my friend Michael Fitzpatrick plays cello with him. Anyway, this music just healed me, and I finally got it with JR, because there were no demands. It was just heartfelt love always. American Indians have 4 priorities: children, mothers, elders, Mother Earth. And Topanga used to be called Tuvanga. It means don't go there. It has 4 meanings: Indian burial pits where the mountains meet the sea, the land of uncertainty, and the dividing line between the Chumash and the Shoshone Indians, Tuvanga. My main residence is on the Big Island. I've been there for the last 25 years on the Big Island, raising my last 2 daughters of my 4 daughters, and a granddaughter now. So basically, it satisfied me, and I stopped with JR because it was beautiful, and it still is. And yeah.
And so when you first met JR physically, or heard him speak physically, was there anything you found different about him to other men? Was there kind of an energy around him, or How would you describe meeting him for somebody who, obviously in the future won't have the opportunity to meet him physically?
Not being narcissistic, but I felt him as an equal. I felt JR, who had enough power to touch me on a 1,000% honest level. I accepted him totally and respected him on that level, and humbly would come and play for him, without any expectations or anything. And I'm still playing, and I'll always play for JR and the movement, because it's a pure love feeling and a vibration, and you go by vibes. Yeah.
And so did you get involved with his other organizations like Insight and Heartfelt, or any of the other organizations,
I did
IWP?
And that was it. I was on, back then, I was quit my job. I was in electrical engineering, packaging engineering. My last straight job was selling Brioni suits and Pierre Cardin sweaters and San Remo boots to Yul Brynner and Miles Davis and Jimi Hendrix, and that was my last straight job. And then that's when I got into my violin after 14 years of not playing, because I was trying to get a job, a regular job. And at that time I was on food stamps, and I had custody of my daughter, who's now 49, Kirsten Jamie, and I couldn't afford other programs, but I did Insight One, and I treasure my mantra that they gave me too.
And did you become an initiate or a minister with John Rogers Church?
Sally's wanted me to be a minister. I'm a minister of the I'm a minister, Universal Life Church. Somebody bought me a ministry, paid $20 back in the 60s, and I've married a lot of people. And so I feel to be a minister with a move of spiritual and awareness, it would be another step up, possibly. Sally's wanted me to do it, and Lise has asked John Morton if he would prove that. And yeah, I'm still open to it. I just haven't gotten around to it. But yes, I would love to be a minister of the movement of spiritual inner awareness as well.
And do you find that being an MSIA and, working with John Rogers' teachings has helped you with your family life and raising your daughters?
Absolutely. I've done my discourses. I still take them. I read them. I listen to them. It's always good energy, and it's a wake-up call. It just reminds you of everything you already know.
And are there any teachings of John Roger that you especially find very useful for you personally?
Yes, it saves my life. Keeps the plane safe, basically, and if there's a problem, with a person that I see walking across the street, I just send them light, or even go beyond that, I was told not to say my mantra out loud, so I keep it to myself. And it's very useful, and just starting a day, protecting myself. It always runs along with the Lord's Prayer. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, I've chose 9 times to say it, to repeat my mantra. And it's worked so far to keep me safe.
And since John Roger passed in October 2014, have you still felt his protection and connection with the energy, even though he left the planet? Absolutely. Physically?
I mean, he's here in this room, smiling, hopefully. He's with me 24/7, and so is the Christ consciousness. love always. You know, it's, I haven't, it takes a group of us to be smart, and he's passed on so many beautiful things that trigger heartfelt truth, and it's believable. And JR has always been believable and allergic to bullshit. That's who JR is, and total respect for JR. And yes, I feel him 24/7. And sometimes I have to talk to him. Sometimes I forget I can, but I talk to him, and he's there, protecting all of us.
And do you find that the people he collects around him, you know, have become your friends? And, you know, how would you describe the group of people that John Roger attracted to him?
I repeatedly see Sally Kirkland. I'd like to get closer to Jesus, you know. He seems like my kind of guy to hang out with. I don't hang out with the movement congregation unless I play there. I haven't been in a living room with you until today. I'm just fiddling around with the world until it gets better. The music's used at the National Institute for Mental Health in Bethesda, Maryland. It was endorsed in 1986 for healing, and Henry Mancini endorses my music since '84 for films. I'm just trying to bring the world to peace, and we can't do it through violence, guns, a contaminated hole through space. My mantras are: be wise, don't compromise, focus on hocus pocus, make happiness a priority. All good musicians are telepathic. Let's say you have a wound in your chest, and you have to have it numbed up and sewn up. Let's call that wound ISIS. You numb the wound with the correct music, and then you stitch it up with psychic energy. President, the peanut guy with the president. Carter.
Thank you.
Is it President?
I think so.
Was it who raised the peanuts?
Yeah,
President,
the peanut farmer. Yeah.
Yeah, the President Carter,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He hired Jim Shannon, who right now I've been part of his First Earth Battalion for the last 3 decades, who lives on Big Island. He was hired by President Carter to train men so powerful they could stare at a goat and make it die. It's a true story. So that psychic energy with the correct music will heal the planet without violence, eventually. That's the only way it can be a win-win situation. And that's what I'm letting go and letting God, trying to touch people instantly, bring them to their center, and make them feel the truth. Yeah.
And did you find that after you met John Roger, he opened your heart and your loving to a new level?
Yes, it was more believable because there was no, there was no question how he could speak and be so wise to remind us of things that we possibly could forget, or remind us, you know, to who we are and what we're capable of, and passing on to each other. Like I said, it takes a group of us to be smart, and yeah, it worked for me with JR.
And have you ever had any inner experiences with the traveler? Have you ever had John Roger come into your dreams or anything like that? Not to share anything sacred, but just in general, do you find that he's worked with you? Do you ever, when you do your meditation, have him come in or that kind of stuff?
I've never seen JR's face in my dreams, but I've dreamed consciously, unconsciously, past girlfriends, I guess, or even Sinatra came up in one of my dreams. And yeah, to say honestly if I ever dreamt about JR, I don't think I have, but I don't know how to answer that question because I don't remember having a physical or a mental dream about JR. But I've had different parts of my life come up.
Right.
Dream, yeah.
And so when John Roger talked about concepts such as reincarnation and that kind of thing, I guess it was kind of familiar to you because you had touched many religions in your before that upbringing. But did you find that the way John Roger described things resonated with you more than other religions, how they expressed it?
Scientology, I think, is a spiritual mind fuck. The word fuck, the church made it dirty. Back in the 7th, 6th century, to fuck the land meant to dig a hole and plant a seed. So, I'm sorry to have used that word, but that's where the word originally came from, in my understanding. It's not a dirty word. To dig a hole and plant a seed means to fuck the land, means to dig a hole and plant a seed. What was the question again? Got off a little bit.
I was asking, what was I asking? No, I forgot my question too. I was asking about John Roger, the way that he described things like reincarnation.
Yes.
How was that sitting with you as opposed to how other religions described it?
Confirming that truth, because I'm a 3 in numerology, and there's 9 lives, and then you start all over again. So, I've always believed coming back, but I'm doing as much as I can while I'm physically in this physical body to just fiddle around with the world until it gets better. I just want to see peace. I want to see peace in the family. I want to see peace in the city, in the state, in our United States. This election right now is just unbelievably crazy. I mean, my first president was JFK. Yeah, it was my first president, and I was he was believable, and and I've supported Martin Luther King, and I've supported Cesar Chavez, the farm workers. Played for governmental things. I made better meetings for Senator Diane Watson back in the 80s when she was discussing busing and everything. Played for Mayor Tom Bradley when he was our mayor. Played for Tom Hayden with the Chicago 7. I met him through Jane Fonda. I'm just a spiritual warrior, basically, and that's what I'm doing. And I want to be placed in front of Congress just for 5 minutes to bring everybody out of their traffic in the car. By the way, I spell traffic Trafuck. Yeah, it's incredibly bad here. 23,000 cars go through Topanga Canyon from the PCH to the 101 every single morning and every single evening. Almost 50,000 cars, possibly. So that's what I do.
And are there any teachings of John Rogers that helped you, through any tough times in your life? Like John Roger, obviously loving is the, foundation of his teachings, and, other things such as, use everything for advancement, learning, upliftment and growth, and take care of yourself so you can take care of others. And so have you used any teachings that you can think of specifically that have helped you through?
Well, I listened to my discourses, and I did insight. It's like taking acid. It's immature I wrote 2 poems about acid. It's immature to take acid more than once, and the second poem is I'm a little leery on acid. I mean, once you get JR, you get the whole thing. And then repeatedly seeing him and listening to the discourses and involved with insight, that was the test. And all these things remind you and make you more aware to what the real truth is. And basically JR reminds us of this on the discourses, and he might pick a subject that could have related to you last month or maybe in the future. So yeah, we're in school 24/7 and we're in church 24/7. Once we stop that, we die inside, and we can't help ourselves, let alone anybody else. We have to learn how to love each other. First we have to love ourselves, and that's basically what it is. I believe in the good of all religions. Not necessarily it's the consciousness, the Christ consciousness, that reveals pure truth. Yeah.
It's beautiful, thank you. So is there any, like when you played for John Roger, at 3500 West Adams, did he ever interact with you personally or say anything personally to you, and how was that? Was it something that really helped you at that time in your life get over something, or anything like that you can share?
Marital problems, children problems. I never asked too many questions to JR because he gave me enough information to figure it out myself. You just have to surrender to the truth and be kind to yourself and other people. I don't know who gave me this mantra, but I love it. Remove all your fears, doubts, guilts. Be free, spontaneous, totally clear, and create a reality that's a benefit for you and other living things. Topanga, the American Indians come back again, because this is where we are. We're on their land. They have 4 priorities: children, mothers, elders, Mother Earth. Keep it simple, stupid.
Exactly. And with your music, so did you find that John Roger was an inspiration for any of your music or all of your music?
I was inspired to play for JR as well as other spiritual leaders. I just want to heal the masses, and if I could be placed in the House of Representatives or Congress, we have to get on the same page to be powerful. The United States, it has to love itself, and all this dissension and division and everything is nuts. Music and psychic energy is gonna do it. That's my belief. The right kind of music, and we just all have to be wise. Don't compromise the truth. Love always. Yes, the music. I was humbly touched by JR allowing me to play for the movement down on West Adams, and recently playing for Easter and different ceremonies. That's what I want to do. Fiddle around with the world until it gets better. As far as him inspiring me, of course his energy's there, the whole congregation's energy there, so I just let go and let God and play that feeling of that time. So yes, when I was with JR, I would surrender to being here now, and projecting any music that would pass through me would be appropriate. And he didn't inspire me on any tunes or anything, but it was, the whole thing was inspiration, letting go and letting God. And my heaviest audience, by the way, was playing for the American Indians. I'm Sunbow with the American Indians, and I played for The Longest Walk and Wounded Knee. I played songs for Skyhorse and Mohawk, Leonard Peltier, the AIM movement. I trembled when I played for all the chiefs and elders when I did the AIM song Everett Young Bear wrote. It was just that energy that was just overwhelming. I mean, I almost dropped my bow like I did at my own wedding. I played for my wedding back in '85, my last ex, Dr. Laura. I dropped my bow during the ceremony. So those are the two heaviest moments that I lost. It was on my wedding day. And Lee Taylor Young married us in my parents' house in Brentwood. Thank you, Lee. Bless you. What a sweetheart. She's walking angel on the planet. You know, she's lovely. And I'm so glad that she hooked up with John Morton. I see the love and the happiness. And Lee's just been a total heartfelt hug to the planet. And yeah, I was inspired all different ways. Yeah.
Great, thank you. So I'd like to invite you, if you would, to play something for us now. So graciously, Tony has offered to play for us today, and this piece is called Letting Go and Letting God, and we are honored to have this offering, and we love you, JR. Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you, Tony.
Thanks. Appreciate you, Kate.
God.
Kiss me, Kate.
Anytime. God bless you.
God bless you. Angels around you.